Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this easy, basic, single crochet beanie. Now, this is nothing special. It's just the type of yarn that I used. You do not have to use that type of yarn. Any yarn will work. A nice solid single crochet beanie like this, it makes a nice solid stitch. It doesn't have the big gaps in it like double crochet beanies do, so it makes for better warmth. It is a bit more time consuming than a regular beanie because it is all single crochet, but it still makes a nice solid beanie. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, for this project I used the Premier Bloom yarn. Now this yarn is what made these stripes in it. Remember, any type, it's a 3-weight yarn, so you'll need to use any type of lightweight 3 or DK yarn will work. I don't have it figured up right now for a 4-weight, so you'll need to use a 3-weight for this pattern right here, but any type will work. But if you are using this yarn, the color that I have is Morning Glory, and it is 100% acrylic. There's 656 yards in here, and you're probably going to need about 250, 300 yards, maybe 250, 300, I don't know, something like that, because since it's such a lightweight 3 and it's all single crochet, it takes a bit more than what a double crochet hat would. But this was full when I got it. It's probably half gone, so maybe a little less than half gone. So I'm just gonna throw an estimate out there between 250 and 300 yards. And now, if you can do it in 2 different sizes just by changing the hook. Out of about 21 inches, you want to just follow my pattern the exact same, but you want to use a G 4.25 millimeter hook. Some G's are 4.0, and that's fine too. Either one, a 4 millimeter or a 4.25. If you have around 21 and a half inch head. Bigger would be like 22 and a half inch. Follow the same pattern that I do, but you want to use a size H, which is a 5 millimeter hook. So those are 2 basic adult sizes there. They're both the same. You just follow the pattern the same, you just use the different size hook. Okay, so we're going to start out with a chain of 4, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Now we are going to work in a continual round this whole hat. When I say that, I mean we're not going to be slip stitching each round shut. So we're going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. I'm going to work 8 single crochets through the center of the ring. So I'm going to go right through it, and I'm going to work 8 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 8. Now you can usually pull that tail, close that circle up a little bit more, and then later we can use our yarn needle and sew it up better. So you're going to need some type of stitch marker. I'm just going to use a piece of yarn. I always use yarn as a stitch marker, and I'm going to place it right here. So that was round 1 that we just did. So you'll have a total of 8 stitches. Okay, so remember, we don't slip stitch in our rounds. What we're going to do now is we're just going to start round 2 by jumping to the first single crochet, and we're going to work 2 single crochets into it. So there's 1 and 2, and we're going to jump to the next stitch and work 2 single crochets, and we're going to work 2 single crochets in every stitch until we get back to our stitch marker. Just like this. So 2 singles in every stitch until you get back to your marker. like that. And when you get back to your marker, go ahead and pull it out and move it up, and that will end round 2, and you should have a total of 16 stitches now. So we're going to start round 3 by putting 1 single crochet into the first stitch. In the next stitch, we'll put 2 single crochets in it. 1 single into the next stitch, and 2 singles into the next. And that's what we're going to repeat now for round 3. 1 single into the next, and then 2 singles into the next. 1 single into the next, 2 singles, 1 single, 2 singles, all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 3, and you should have a total of 24 stitches. So go ahead and move your stitch marker up. I switched stitch markers. The other one was too big. So go ahead and move it up, and now we're going to start round 4. And we're going to do a 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 single, then go to the next one. There's another single, and then the next stitch we're going to put 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So there's 1 and 2. And that's a pattern we're going to repeat for round 4. 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. There's 1, 2, and then 2 singles into the next. 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and 2 singles into the next. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern of 1 single, 2 singles, 1 single, 2 singles, all the way around until I get back to my stitch marker. Alright, made it back to the end of round 4, and now you should have 32 stitches. Go ahead and move your marker up like that. And now for round 5, we are going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 2 singles into the next. So there's 1 and 2. Then we're going to repeat that. 1 single crochet into the next 3. There's 1, 2, 3, and 2 singles into the next. And that's the pattern I'm going to repeat for now for round 5. 1 single into the next 3, and 2 singles into the next. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. Alrighty, I made it to the end of round 5, and I should have a total of 40 stitches. Go ahead and move that stitch marker up. Round 6, we are going to put 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And then we're going to repeat that again. 1 single into the next 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 singles into the next. And this is the pattern we're going to repeat for round 6. 1 single into the next 4, and 2 singles into the next, all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. Alright, I've made it to the end of round 6. Now you have 48 stitches. Go ahead and move your stitch marker up, and we will start round 7 by putting 1 single crochet into the first, or the next 5 stitches this time. So there's 1, 2. So there's 5 in a row, and then 2 single crochets into the next. And we will repeat that again. 1 single crochet into the next 5. And 2 single crochets into the next. Now we are going to repeat that pattern all the way around for round 7. 1 single crochet into the next 5. and 2 single crochets into the next. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around until I get back to my stitch marker. All right, I've made it to the end of round 7, 56 stitches now. Go ahead and pull your stitch marker up and we will start round 8. And you probably know what I'm going to say. It's 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches this time. And 2 single crochets into the next. And that's the pattern we're going to repeat now for round 7. 1 single crochet into the next 6. And 2 single crochets into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my stitch marker. All right, I've made it to the end of round 8, 64 stitches now. Go ahead and move your stitch marker up. Round 9 is a 1 single crochet into the first 7 stitches. There's 7. And then 2 single crochets into the next. So now that's the repeat now for round 9. 1 single crochet into the next 7. And 2 single crochets into the next. So we're going to repeat this pattern. 1 single crochet in the next 7, 2 single crochets into the next, all the way around until we get back to our starting point. All right, I've made it to the end of round 9, 72 stitches now. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my stitch marker up and we are going to start round 10 by putting 1 single crochet into the next 8 stitches. And then 2 single crochets into the next. And that's the pattern we're going to repeat now for round 10. 1 single into the next 8. And then 2 singles into the next. And I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. All right, I've made it to the end of round 10, 80 stitches now. So let's go ahead and move our stitch marker up again. We're going to do it again. So we are going to put, for round 11, we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 9 stitches. You probably already knew that though. There's 9, and then 2 single crochets into the next. So that's what we're going to repeat for round 11. 1 single crochet into the next 9. And 2 single crochets into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my stitch marker. All right, I've made it to the end of round 11 and now you'll have 88 stitches. We're going to go ahead and move our stitch marker up, and for round 12 we are going to put 1 single crochet into the next 10 stitches. And 2 single crochets into the next. And that's the pattern we're going to repeat now for round 12. 1 single into the next 10, and 2 singles into the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my stitch marker. All right, I've made it to the end of round 12. So we're going to go again. You should have a 96 stitches, round 13. We are going to start off by putting 1 single crochet into the first or the next 11 stitches. And then 2 single crochets into the next. Again, 1 single crochet into the next 11. Two single crochets into the next, and this is a pattern we're going to repeat now for round 13 all the way around until we get back to our stitch marker. All right, I've made it to the end of round 13. It looks kind of like an octagon, I guess, right now. No more increasing. So what we're going to do now is move our stitch marker up. So from now on, we're just going to be working 1 single crochet in every stitch. And the more, we're just going to keep doing rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. And you'll always have 104 stitches at the end of every round. And once you start doing a few rounds of single crochet, you'll notice the hat start to form a little bit hat shaped. But it will take, I think, a few rounds before you notice that. So I'm on round 14. I'm just going to continue around putting 1 single crochet in every stitch until I get back to my stitch marker. Just like that. All right, I've made it back to the end of round 14 and I have 104 stitches. I'm going to move my stitch marker up, and now I'm just going to repeat round 14 until I get my hat as long as I want it to be. So round 15 is just a repeat of round 14. I'm just going to continue doing rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. When I make it back to my stitch marker, I will move my marker up and I will continue again working another round of 1 single crochet in every stitch. Now I'm not quite sure how many rounds I'm going to do, but I'll let you know here in just a second how many total rounds I do. Remember, you always have 104 stitches at the end of every round. I just want to take a second to point out that your hat will look huge. Look at this. Look how big this looks. It's going to look like that, so you're not doing anything wrong. It just takes a while with single crochet for it to start kind of forming into a hat. But I mean, so it'll look big for a while, but see, mine looks like huge. I don't know, big bowl or something, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep going in the same manner, doing the 1 single crochet in every stitch, and it will work out in the end. All right, I went ahead and I finished out 35 rounds total. That is starting from the very top as round 1 all the way down is 35. I'm going to do one more round, and I'm going to do 1 row of decreases, so the top row of single crochet doesn't sometimes it kind of flips up a little bit. I'm going to do a decrease row, and that'll keep that from happening. But if you want to make yours longer or shorter, go ahead and do that before you do this final round. So I did 35, but remember, you make yours as long or short as you want. I'm going to go ahead and pull my stitch marker up. Now I want to do 11 single crochets in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3, There's 11. Now I'm going to do a single crochet decrease. Single crochet decrease is worked over 2 stitches. So I'm going to go into the next stitch and drop a loop. And then I'm going to go into the next one and drop a loop. Then I'm going to yarn over and go through all 3 loops on our hook. So that took 2 stitches and made it into 1. Now I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to do 11 single crochets in a row. And then I'm going to do a single crochet decrease over the next 2. So I'm going to go into the next one and drop a loop. And then the next one after that, drop a loop. And then yarn over and go through all 3. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around. 11 single crochets in a row. And decrease over the next 2. Just like that. So 11 in a row and then decrease. 11 in a row and decrease all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker. All right, now at the end of row 36, you should have 96 stitches. If you don't have that exact amount, it's not that big of a deal. But once you make it back to your stitch marker, you can go ahead and pull it out, because you don't need it anymore. And what we're going to do is end the round by slip stitching into the next stitch. And then tie that off. And then we can hide that tail, and then that is it. It's finished. I think it's pretty. Turned out pretty cute. I like it. So remember, you can use this with any yarn. It makes a nice solid a nice solid hat. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my tutorials or any of my other videos. If you look over there on the right hand side of the screen, I'm gonna go ahead and put a playlist of all my other hats in case you want to check them out. I got loads of them. So until next time, have a good day.